Okay, we're back.
Okay, we're back. So I'm just going to share this with the public. Um, Everything in Jyotisha plays out, everything that the astrologer sees, right? So the first thing that I saw when I joined was the sign that said, the washroom is not for the public.
Right.
And someone came in and asked to use the washroom. So the point of that is not, it's not just a silly thing. It's what you notice when the client sits down. The thing that catches your eye, the thing that it has relevance. It has relevance, and so I mean, even if you see if someone asks about a relationship and you see two birds fighting, or you see two birds mating, which is a great omen, you say, yes, love is coming. It's coming for you because nature is showing you, right? This is the world of nimitta. So it can be a silly thing like, what's the bathroom, or but the point is that things play out if you kind of you know, make reality your matrix, I guess. And of course, not successful at it all the time, but looking for nimittas is interesting.
Right.
And
That's
actually, not when you're looking for them, they don't come. It's when you're not looking for them that it's a real nimitta.
right.
Because when you're looking, it's like you're trying to make something happen. No, let nature speak to you. So you just sit back, and instead of being intensive, you just relaxive, and we relax into it. So that's why we're going to have a relaxive, not an intensive, next
Right.
few Saturdays from now. So yeah. Well, what else? I mean, we've covered a fair bit here. Anything else you wanted to discuss?
I mean, whatever you like, whatever comes to your mind that you like to share.
I don't have an agenda. Like I said, I came kind of open just to have a discussion today. And that's kind of what this is. Podcasts are very popular, and podcast is often just a discussion. When it's between two people, you're just having a curious intellectual discussion, and people, I think, enjoy listening to that more so than when there's an agenda. All right, first thing we're going to talk about this, we're going to, and then it's more casual. It's more of a,
Right.
I think that's why people like Kapil and Sunil, and they're casual, they're lovely people,
Right.
and make you feel like, yeah, I could hang out with these guys, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
Yeah, there's a movie coming out, I think, from Kapil. It's on Ketu.
oh yeah.
Um,
Well, I think, well, I saw it. I saw part of it, actually. I saw like the preview, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
looks pretty good.
He's an amazing filmmaker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you seen the interview with Rahul? That he,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
so awesome.
So he's the director, the writer, the star. Yeah, it's good. We all have these beautiful creative projects, and sometimes they take fruit. We call them hobbies, whatever you want to call it, but sometimes they become your life's work.
Right.
Uh, that's actually a quality of Chandramangala yoga. Your hobby, the thing you love, turns into your life's work. Bill Gates loved computers and became a computer mogul. Some Michael Jordan loves sports. He has a Moon Mars thing. He became an athlete, but it has to be something you love first. It's not like you set out to become whatever.
Right. What are you passionate about?
It's your passion that then becomes what you're known for.
Right.
And all of us have that. All of us have some kind of hidden creative impulse, whether it's investing or stamp collecting or gardening, and that's what makes life interesting, is following that passion.
Right.
It makes
What
the
do you,
hours
yeah, what
meaningful.
do you think about, I don't know, like about Arudra Lagna or the concept of Arudra Lagna and
Oh, Arudha Lagna. Well, I mean, it's certainly a useful concept. Certainly, a lot of Jyotishis use it. I personally don't use it,
Okay.
but I mean, yeah, James Kelleher. I know. I think Kapil uses it. Many Jyotishis use it, and um, Arudha means mounted upon.
Mm.
So something that is mounted upon, or you know, placed upon something else, like when you mount a horse, like that. And so it's the past tense, arudha, something mounted on. So it presupposes that you have, obviously, your udaya lagna, the rising lagna, because it's built on the rising lagna. So udaya lagna, the rising lagna examination has to come first,
Mm.
and then you mount on top of that, you do an examination of the arudha lagna to see, what the public perception of you is like, and so forth. So obviously in Jaimini it's very big. I don't use it. I've never felt the need to use it, partly because I also do work with KP, and
Mhm.
so I have my sublords and all that. So I've got enough stuff to work with.
Right.
But Jyotisha has such a wealth of techniques that, I mean, when will I get married? Well, you can look at it through the Jaimini Karakas, you know, the Karaka for the Dada Karaka and so forth. You can look at it through standard Parashari. You can use KP, you can use Tajika, and they should all give you, more or less the same answer, because, you know, because they work. So it's a personal personal taste, personal preference, I think.
Right. And I mean, I don't know if I have ever asked you this before, but how did you get into astrology? Or
I've
like what
always,
really
yeah,
drew you?
ever since I was a kid, it was my hobby. That's how it became, it's always been my passion, but not to do it for people, just to do it for myself, to see you know, when things are going to start going my way. And I check every year, every month. Oh man, not this month. Okay.
Right.
How about next month? Let's see. And try to find combinations. And so
Right.
it's usually when things aren't, going super great. If you got a great life and, you're in, you know, a sitcom and you're making $10 million an episode, you don't care so much. Everything's great. You're busy. You've got friends. You've got parties. Everything's great. It's when things are not great that people turn to astrology. I mean, Krishna said as much in the Bhagavad Gita. The first chapter is the chapter of Arjuna's depression. The whole reason we have the Bhagavad Gita is because Arjuna was depressed. If he were happy, he wouldn't have asked Krishna, "Hey Krishna, teach me."
Right.
Shadimam Krishna. Um, uh, he says, "Teach me. I'm your student. I'm ready to learn." The reason he's ready is because all of his pride, his arrogance, his self-confidence is gone, and he's stripped naked, sitting there on the battlefield going, I don't know what to do. And he's in this desperate state. So astrology is not for people who are, it's for people who are suffering, you
Right.
know?
Absolutely.
And, um, and so that's what got me into astrology. We grew up very poor, very, anyway, whatever. Everyone has a sob story. And a lot of people have it and had it a lot worse than I did. That's for sure.
Mm.
um, because I had the leisure time to study astrology. I had the time to read books, and I had access to books and computers and stuff, which many people don't. So I'm grateful for that. I'm eternally grateful for that. And um, and yeah, and that's why astrology can be a spiritual path, because it's a mirror. There was this great martial arts movie long time ago. When I was a kid, I watched it, and the whole movie was about these guys trying to make it up to this mountain. They all had a quest, because if you got to the end of the mountain, the secret of life would be revealed, the secret to everything. So different martial artists from all walks of life, the judokas, the karate guys, the wrestlers, the ninjas, all of them. And little by little, they were all faced with adversities, and they all sort of started to fall off one by one, until at the end, there's this one guy. One guy makes it, and he barely makes it, barely. And he gets to the top of the mountain. He walks into the temple. No one is there, and this thing is covered. He takes the cover off, and it's a book.
Mm.
And he opens the book, and it's a mirror.
Mm.
And he looks at it for like 30 seconds, a minute, and finally starts laughing. Because the point is, what he learned in the journey, all the difficulties he faced to get there, made him such a strong, wise person that by the end he could appreciate it's all within you.
Right.
Right?
My
Sarveshu
aha moment.
jiveshu paramatma virajate. Within all beings, the God shines forth. And there it is. So astrology is that mirror. It can be that mirror. And that's why we practice.
Lovely.
And in modern times, because we live in a modern society, we have to be able to survive doing it. We have to make a buck. We have to be able to pay the rent, pay our bills, so that we can sit here and have this conversation.
Right.
But traditionally, astrology was you never charged for it. You gave what you could. You gave a mango to the astrologer, or you brought, if you were very wealthy, you brought a cow, or you brought something. There's always should be an exchange, by the way. People go, well, why aren't you doing it for free if you're so spiritual?
Right.
Because if you want something for nothing, then you are a Nastika. You're someone who doesn't have the right orientation or attitude to get the most from the reading. And Parashara said, do not do readings for Nastikas.
Right.
So,
energy exchange, right?
There must be an energy exchange, or else the vidya won't be bothered. One of my mentors used to say that if there's no money exchange or energy exchange, the vidya, the Jyotir, she's like, this guy's not worth, no, next. She needs to be tempted. She needs to be interested, And this is going to sound like blasphemy to some people, but an energy exchange, give a mango, give a compliment, okay? It doesn't have to be your life savings. Right. So in the modern world, in the modern merchant society, that means money.
Right.
If you do readings online, you can't send a mango via mail. So that's the medium of energy exchange these days, is cash, is money. So we do this so it's our hobby, it's our passion, and it's also our livelihood.
Right. Cool.
And that's okay in this yuga, in the Kali Yuga. It's okay. It's, So I hope
there was something that came into my mind. I thought I'd just ask. There's different, about Navamsha, right? So there's D1 chart, D9 chart. What is your views? Do you feel that it only kicks in when you get married, or it kicks in when at a certain age?
I think it's always in operation. I mean, one of the ways we know that is because of the Vargotama principle. If you have a planet that's in the same Rashi in the D1 as the D9, that planet is immediately strengthened. It's not strengthened after you get married. It's not strengthened when you reach age 30. Right. That's just a strong planet. Right. So that tells us that the D9 is operative from birth. However, it's something you evolve into also. The D9 is kind of the mirror of ourself. Obviously the D9 can also be the chart of the partner, the person you're going to attract as a mate. But isn't the person you attract as a mate kind of a reflection of us? When two people are soulmates, they kind of blend, they bond together. Yeah. So the Navamsha is a very mysterious Amsha, but I know people say, oh, it takes over the later part of your life. Okay, but then, why is it used to qualify the strength of planets? Why is it used, in Dashavargaja, in the schemes that show us planetary strength? I think there's more to it than just later in life. So, and in fact, the thing I mentioned earlier, which some of the classics say that the person will look like the sign that is on their Navamsha Lagna. The Navamsha that you have rising is what will describe you. Well, that doesn't kick in at age 30. That's from birth.
Right.
So I think some aspects for sure kick in after you get married because it is the chart of your final partner, of your soulmate. But I think some aspects of it are also operational from day one.
So, for example, if someone has a difficult, like, for instance, like if someone, let's say, the difficult sign with their moon, I mean, the most difficult I would think is Saturn moon, right?
Yeah.
And then they have their moon with maybe Venus or with a benefic in D9.
Yeah, I see your point. Yeah, so that it can tell us how fixed the karma is.
Okay.
So let's say you have, yeah, an afflicted moon, or you have what we call a Mars Venus misalignment, which tends to give picking the wrong person in relationships. If that moon is also afflicted, if that Mars Venus are also misaligned in the D9, then it's Drida karma. It's
Okay.
just something that is going to be much harder to fix.
Mm.
Still possible, but very, very difficult. Whereas if the moon is afflicted in the D1 or Mars, Venus are misaligned, for example, but in the D9, they're doing fine in the D9.
Right.
Then it's mixed, it's drida adrida, means with some effort, we can fix this, man.
Right.
So you're right. So this, the D9 can be used to qualify the quality of the karma, meaning is it fixed, mixed, or non-fixed? So if you have a good moon in the D1, a good moon in the D9, well, okay, Mr. or Mrs. Happy, thank you. Go away and be happy. Don't bother me. Right? They're fine.
Right.
If your planets Mars, Venus are aligned in the D1 and they're aligned in the D9, then that is also a kind of drida karma that says, but it's a desirable drida karma that says this person's relationships will be aligned, generally speaking, through their lifetime. Of course, you have to analyze other things too, but so yeah, the D9 will qualify the karma.
Right.
Okay. Any other thoughts, questions, topics?
So Mars, Venus, like choosing the wrong person in the relationship, that doesn't matter which house it is in your like chart, like T1, or it would be different if it's in your career house then.
Well, yeah. So what I mean a very specific thing when I say Mars Venus displacement. It means if Mars Venus are 6-8 or 212 to each other,
Okay.
um, and we talk about this a lot in the planetary combos course, because each relationship of Mars to Venus, and there are some nuances there. The conjunction, the opposition, the 5-9, the 4-10 means something different.
Mhm.
So we discuss all of that, and I'm afraid we don't have the time to go into that depth right here.
Right.
But that's what I mean by misalignment. Now, what bhavas they're in will color that.
Right.
But, and of course, the nature of the seventh house, the house of relationships. If there's a strong seventh house, then the relationship outcome may be good, like you get married. But if Mars Venus are misaligned, you may not be totally happy with that marriage. You may still be having an itch to scratch, want something more.
Right.
But you have a successful marriage. Seventh house is strong, good. If the seventh house is weak and Mars Venus are misaligned, now not only do you have an itch to scratch, you don't have anyone to scratch it with. So now you're constantly seeking, why can't I find the right person? And then turn to the D9. If it's also misaligned in the D9, then this becomes a lifelong theme. And you can see this in 10 seconds in a chart. You see it and you go, and you ask the client, is this a pattern for you? And they'll be like, all my life. And you just hit what it would take maybe 10, 20 therapy sessions with a psychologist. You just went
Right.
right into it,
Right.
you know? So astrology, Jyotisha gives us that tool, that mirror, like the guy, right? You go, whoa, to see ourselves,
Right.
to really see ourselves and our clients.
Thank you.
So, all right. So I hope this was useful to everyone watching. And
So anybody wanting to register for the conjunction course is 40% off. Is there a code that they enter or just?
no, I just thought of this. So they have to email me.
Okay.
I'll give you my email. They have to email me and say, hey, I saw you on Navjeet's channel, on Dr. Arjun Pai's channel, and I'll send them the course and the link.
In the link below, I will actually add your email and then your site as well. So you guys can go there and just, or email Simon for the 40%.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
Simon, for your
Let's
time.
do it. Thank you. My pleasure. Always a pleasure. And now I have to go use the bathroom.